there, fourth graders. We are going to continue using our division algorithm, and we are going to find whole number quotients and remainders. So today we're going to kind of get thrown at us any number, and we're going to be able to divide it into groups today. Okay, so lesson 18. If I can turn on my slate here. All right. So here's just a quick warm-up for us. If you feel like you want to try these on your own and then watch to get the answers, I am going to go through these step by step just so you're hearing the steps. The more you hear the steps, I think the better at these you will get. Okay, it's really a procedure that we just have to keep working on. So I'm going to set up my algorithm with my 43 as my dividend and my 3 as my divisor. Okay, I always think first the 3 going into my tens. So my 3 goes into my 4 only once. Okay, I can't double it because I'll be at 6 and that's too many. So 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, that's how many we used. And 4 minus 3 leaves us with 1/10. So this is what we were looking at yesterday when there's a remaining 10. So now I'm going to rename. So think about renaming that 1/10, and it becomes 13 ones. So now I can take my 13 ones and I can put them in the 3 groups. So 3 goes into 13, or the fast fact that gets me close to 13, as close as I can without going over, is 4. So 4 goes in my quotient. 3 times 4 gets me 12. Okay, that's as close as I can get, and that leaves me with a remainder of 1. So I've figured out that my quotient is 14 and my remainder is 1. Alright, to check my work, I take my quotient. Okay, so that's my quotient up here, and I multiply it by my divisor. So this is over here. I'm going to take my 2 pieces and multiply them and see if I end up with my Okay, so I have 3 times 4 gets me 12. 3 times 1 gets me 3, plus 1 more gets me 4. But I'm not at 43 yet because I have to add on my remainder. So when I add on that remainder, I do end up with 43, and that checks. Okay? Alright, let's look at this next one. I have 64 divided by 5. 5 goes into, pause 1 second. I have 5 going into my 6/10, which is 1 time. That gives me 5, so 1 times 5 gets me 5. I have 1/10 left over. I bring down my 4 as my rename. 5 goes into 14. 5, 10, 15 is too many, so it only goes in twice. 5 times 2 gets me 10. When I subtract, I'm left with 4. Okay, and I know that's done because 5 cannot go into 4. Okay, and to check this work, I can go ahead and say 12 times 5 is 60, and plus 4 more is going to get me the 64. Okay, so that does check. Okay, I know that seems like a big remainder, but that is the remainder. So I have a quotient of 12 times and a remainder of 4. Okay, let's look at what is next. Here's a word problem for us. Alright, Mallory's family is going to buy oranges. The Grand Market sells oranges at 3 pounds for 87 cents. How much does 1 pound of oranges cost at the Grand Market? So when we think about this, we've got 3 pounds of oranges. And those 3 pounds cost 87 cents. So if we were thinking about a simple tape diagram, we have 3 pounds. So there's our 3 pounds. And those 3 pounds cost 87 cents. Okay? In order to get what 1 pound costs, we need to use division. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So if I have 3 pounds going into 87 cents, we have 3 goes into 8, that's twice. Okay, 3 times 2 gets us 6. So we subtract 6, and I'm left with 2 tens. Okay. I rename, so I bring down my 7. Now I have 3 goes into 27. So I think about counting by 3s and getting to 27. And I know that that's 9. Okay, so 3 times 9 gets me 27. And this looks very similar to yesterday. So we're left with a 0 remainder. So my answer, so each pound is equal to 29 cents. Okay, so this was one that we know that we have 3 pounds. We want to know how much one of them is. So there's our 1 pound. So 1 pound of oranges costs 29 cents. Alright, so there we just helped Mallory's family out with our division here. Alright, so we're really going to practice our standard algorithms today, and I'm just going to really kind of work through a few with you and hope that the more we practice, the better we'll get. Okay, for this first one, I believe this is the only one that we're going to be doing a place value chart for, so you can continue to make that relationship. If you feel like you need to do a place value chart to practice still, you always can. Okay, remember you want to get the right answer. Okay, so we want you to be accurate, and I want you to be understanding where these algorithms come from. Right? If we just do the algorithm and we don't know what the algorithm means, it's really not helpful. Okay, so go ahead and make your place value chart here. We have 5 10s and 7 1s. I'm going to set up my 3 groups underneath. So my 2 lines makes my 3 groups. And I'm going to start divvying them up. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we can't go again. So these 2 10s are going to get renamed. Okay? So I would rename 20 1s here. Okay, so there's my 20, and what I already had was 7. Okay, I'm going to start our algorithm over here as well. So go ahead and start an algorithm, and my 3 goes into my 5 1 time. So that's over here. So 3 times 1 gets you 3. When you subtract, you're left with 2. Okay, and that's what happened. So we rename. Now I have 27. So now these 27 1s are going to get broken down into my 3 groups. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Why don't you finish up the algorithm on your own and then check your work with me. Okay, so pause and finish. Alright, so I have 9 that are going into each. Okay, so if I would have divvied all these out, I would end up with 9 in each group. Okay, so there's 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then my last 9. Okay, so 3 groups of 9 makes 27. We don't have a remainder for this one. When I check my work, I have 19 times 3 should get us 57. So 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more is 5, and that checks. Okay. Alright, I believe, oh, I do have 3 problems. I think I'm only going to have time for one more of these, and then I will let you guys loose to try out your problem set, okay? So we're not going to do the place value chart for this one. We're just going to do the algorithm and then the check, okay? Don't forget your checks. Alright, so 86 divided by 5. We're going to rewrite that in our algorithm. Okay, so under our division bar, we've got our 86, which is our dividend, and then I have my divisor, which is 5. So 5 goes into 8 one time. That used up 5 of those 10s. So 8 minus 5 leaves us with 3. Then I bring down the 6. I have 36, and 5 goes into 36. Let's see, 7 times. That's as close as we can get without going over. Okay, because if I go in 8 times, I'm at 40, and that's too many. So 5 times 7 gets me 35. So I have a remainder of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and record my quotient as 17, my remainder as 1, and I am going to check. So I've got 17 times 5. 5 times 7 gets me 35. 5 plus 3 is 8, and plus the 1 more gets me 86. Okay, so there's that. Hopefully we're feeling better. Okay, the more you practice, I think the better you're going to get. So go ahead and rock your problem set, guys.